Well, part of that scheme is coming together, and it's the same story in the wintertime. I just need to find the leak. Conveyors, chippers, grinders. Now listen, they say, it's been said by many expert on... You see in there? See them? Oh, hey, welcome back. It's Jax. Got something really exciting cooking. It's cooking. Something's happening here. Pretty excited about it. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a truck over there. Okay, enough of that. You remember last video I mentioned how I had something cooking. I was scheming on something, wasn't quite ready to share. Well, part of that scheme is coming together. It's not a scheme, it's actually a piece of wizardry. What it is I'm going over to pick up a byproduct from a grain processing plant. It's a byproduct. I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet until we get there, but it's a byproduct, all right? Let me run you through this with cattle real quick. When you feed cattle, they have a certain and specific nutritional requirement. For example, in the summertime when they're out on grass, we have to give them mineral and salt because the grass is deficient in some of the minerals as it gets drier that some of the cattle need. So what do? We give them some loose salt and mineral. And it's the same story in the wintertime. These cattle have certain nutritional requirements. Now, since we're very, very, very short on feed, got to thinking and reading and researching and looking around and realized there may be another way to take the resources that we have, the little resources that we have, which is basically a little bit of hay, and I'm working on getting a hold of some straw to feed as well. Straw has like zero nutritional value, but cattle will eat it. It's kind of like top ramen noodles, all right? Think of straw as top ramen noodles for a cow, no, minus the salt. So what we're realizing is if we feed hay and straw combined together, we can stretch the feed supply. If we can get a hold of some straw, add it to the hay that we have, we can stretch the current feed supply. Now, that ration that we're going to make will be very, very short on nutrition for the cows. So what do we do to overcome that? You have to supplement it with something. Here's the problem with supplements. Everything is through the roof right now, just through the roof. Corn prices are high, barley prices are high, wheat prices are high. It's crazy. Just so you know, if you follow hay, it's getting up around $250 a ton around here, if you can even find it. So to supplement this poor ration that we have, I thought maybe I could find something, some kind of byproduct that's not very popular that we might be able to make work. And I think I found it. It's over in a town 150 miles away, but we're gonna go load it up. I really wanna tell you what it is right now, but you're just gonna have to wait. You just got to keep watching. Wait and watch. One last thing before I want to touch on before we hit the road. The reason why, if some of you have wondered why we can't just go buy hay, why can't you just go buy some hay and keep your cows? The thing you have to remember, and this is good advice to take to whatever you're doing in your life, business-wise, everything first and foremost is a business. Yes, ranching is a lifestyle. Yes, trucking is a lifestyle, but first and foremost, it is a business. And I'll tell you, if you run the numbers, feeding cattle hay that costs $200 to $300 a ton is a bad business decision. It will lose you money. There's no question. So that's why, as bad as we just want to keep everything, go blow a ton of money, go blow $80,000, $90,000 on hay so that we can keep our cows through the winter. You just can't. You have to find a different way. And so that's the whole reason that we're doing this. So speaking of business decisions, this product that I'm going to get in the cab over, I'm gonna haul it on my walking floor trailer. You're gonna see it's pretty cool how it works. But the product I'm going to get is gonna have some cost attached to it, you see. I have to drive, it's a 300 and some mile round trip to go pick it up and bring it back. You know, you have diesel costs, you have equipment costs. It is all a business. So I thought it would be great if I could find something to haul from here over to there. And it just so happens that I have a customer that needs a product hauled from here over to there. And it even more great is that it's a product that'll fit in my walking floor trailer. So come along, we are going to go out to the Amish sawmill and I'm going to load a semi-load of sawdust in the back of my walking floor. We're gonna take it over, we're gonna unload it, we're gonna reload this magical product that I'm gonna roll the dice on and see if it'll work for our cattle. And Hopefully it'll ease the burden and help us keep a few more cows around. Because as you know, everything is better with some cows around. I'm having flashbacks to Death Valley with Diesel Dave.
I'm right behind Jack's right here. And we're driving about 15 to 18 miles per hour. And he's got the window, no, he's got the door open on his cab over right now. My best guess is that the truck is running on the hot side and that he can't afford to go any faster, otherwise he's going to start overheating. But you can see he's got the driver's door open right now, so I'm guessing that he and Dave are getting a little toasty inside that cab over.
See, back in the old days, this was normal business for the old timers, for the old crazy boys. All these big hills in the desert, hot, you shut your AC up, yeah, doors open, shirts off, pants off, windows down, just rolling. Another day on the job. That's how you climb out of Death Valley when you're trying to keep your truck from getting too hot.
I got no air conditioning in this little cab over yet. It functions, I just need to find the leak. So for now, it's windows down. What do you got? What do they call that? Oh, there's a funny saying about not having your air conditioning. 2 windows down, and there's a double nickel something or another. You know what I'm talking about? Help me out. Help me out. If you remember it, mention it. I forget. I got that double nickel air conditioner. How does that go? So we made it out. Had a little discovery. The old Scabby had a tire that was off the bead. Now, as a lot of you have seen, you can use the old starting fluid and flame, as we've all, well, not maybe we all, but as some of you have done before. Just a little heads up for you. Just a little tip. You don't always need starting fluid and fire. A lot of times, this wheel will not reseat itself on the rim because it's being squished down on the ground. Sometimes all it takes is driving up on a little 2x4 and it'll take enough pressure off the bottom of that tire that you can just put the air hose to it, wiggle it a little bit, and it'll catch the bead again and the tire will inflate without having to use flames and glory. Although, I love flames and glory. You guys, I love places like this. I love places like this where you got rough cutting going on, you got milling going on, conveyors, chippers, grinders, sawdusters, vacuums, all the stuff that goes into these mills. What they actually do here is they make pallets. It's an Amish mill and they make pallets here. And of course it's full of plenty of byproducts. So what we're doing with this load, he's getting me loaded up as you can see. What we're doing with this load, it's going to a dairy. It's going to a Hutterite dairy. And they use the sawdust for bedding for their dairy cattle. And it works pretty good. So about once a month, we slip a load over to this place, to this dairy. Same place happens to be nearby where I'm trying to get this byproduct from. So it's kind of cool how it's gonna work out, I think. Hopefully the byproduct works the way we were hoping that it'll work. But nonetheless, we're gonna give it a shot. Check out that loader, man. Those tilt buckets are sweet. You've seen how that bucket tilts it up? I think they call them like a high, you guys know, like a high, not a high lift bucket, but kind of a high lift dump. Instead of the bucket having to dump down and into the trailer, this tips it up. It's cool. up high in the burning sun. Last thing we got to do to this load before we can boogie is I got to get my broom and I got to level this off because we got to tarp it. Otherwise, it's all going to blow away, right? Going down the highway. Now listen, they say, it's been said by many expert on relationships that in order to grow your love stronger towards someone or something, you need to sacrifice. And I'm trying to always grow and expand my love for Diesel Dave.
Hey honey, free for you.
And as part of that, here I am again, out here in my insulated muck boots and shorts. I'm gonna do it Diesel Dave style for no other reason than just sacrifice so that I can grow my love towards him. And he will see that and appreciate me even more as a true and loyal friend. Right now, this was one of the earliest and sketchiest experiences that I've had trucking. It was a springtime storm. I was going into this dairy to load a few cattle to take to the auction yard, more or less a local haul, 150 miles, and they had just a very localized blizzard, a real wet blizzard that blew in right here. And I started climbing up this hill. I was in the Sweet Pea. As I'm climbing up that hill, I spin out in my truck. I spin out on the slick snow. I'm stuck there sitting on the hill. And I had a half a load of cattle already on the trailer. I was coming here to top off, you see. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, no problem, I can chain up. So I hit my parking brake so I can get out and put my chains on, and the truck starts creeping backwards down the hill. So I finally got it to a spot where I could get it to stop so I could put my chains on. I chained up, put it in gear, and instead of pulling up the hill with the chains on, I'd continue to just slide further back down the hill. And I couldn't keep my truck straight. I started going towards the edge of the hillside, the cliff, so to speak. So I finally stopped and I called the dairy and said, you guys got to get one of your big tractors down here as quick as you can, because I'm slowly just creeping back down this hill. And they finally showed up. Nothing bad happened. We hooked some chains on. They had a great big old four-wheel drive John Deere, and we got up the hill. But if you've been in trucking long enough, you experience those kind of things, and it just scares you to death. But when you come out on the other side of it, you're that much more wizened and experienced, and all the better for it. Made it, squeezed in here. Any of you guys that have been to a dairy know that it's usually tight trucking. It's usually tight trucking, 90% of the time. Check this out. These are called commodity bays. In each one of these bays under this shed, they keep different commodities that are used in the dairy business. This is my little bay. Part of my last load still in here, check it out. So we're gonna back in here. We'll open the barn doors, we'll back it on in, back it on down, bring it on, bring it on, and get this load off.
Don't force me out of bed in your society. Don't push me down the road you're bleeding down. Don't try to fix my head, it's just your anxiety. Don't hush me now, cause I just wanna shout.
check it out. This is a plant that makes canola oil. Canola oil of all things. Kind of just a weird lightning strike sort of deal. I ended up getting in touch with the guy that kind of helps run this place, and he's had a need to get rid of canola screenings. So when the canola comes in here, they've got to screen it out, clean it out, get it just to the perfect fine, properly graded seed size, and any other trash. See, when the canola comes in, it comes in with bits of straw, canola straw in it. It comes in with maybe other crops that may have been growing the previous year that came up. All this is organic, you see. So they're not out there spraying or doing anything to it. So that means anything that was growing the previous year, for example, some wheat or some peas, there's some volunteer wheat or pea plants that are up in those fields. Well, when they combine the canola, it's 90% canola and 10% bits of straw, wheat, peas, whatever it may be. That's what we have. That's what we're going to get. And here, you see, is those screenings. Now, it's hard to say what the feed value is in those because every load of screenings is different. It depends whose canola they're running. If it's someone that has a really clean, clear, nice field of canola, then it's going to be not a lot of screenings, and the screenings you do get are going to be pretty good. It's going to be mostly canola, just maybe some broken pieces of canola in there. You get someone that has a lot of other stuff in their field, you're going to get some other stuff. I'm dying to get this loaded on to get home and dig some of it out and see. You can't really say, well, I want to come look at it and we'll see. They're looking for someone that can do the deal, that will come in once a month, take whatever screenings they have, bring them home. So I'm trying to couple this with that sawdust customer where I can come over with sawdust, unload it, come over here, reload the screenings, and then take them back home, whether it's a full load, partial load, whatever the case may be. That's what we're trying to accomplish, you see. Canola, of all things, canola. Let's get this on, get it home, and dig in and see what these screenings have in store. All right, y'all, here we are. I got home, cracked the doors. Here it is. Oh, I'm anxious. It's very much more roughage in it than what I was expecting. But like I mentioned before, you don't really know what to expect till you just do it. You got to just get it and do it. And we're to the point where that's where we are. So let's check this out. Let's sift through it here and see what we can find. Don't mind my man calf. So here's what I'm talking about. See how there's a whole lot of, this would be canola straw. You'd call it canola straw. See all these pieces? But as you start to blow on it, start passing it hand to hand, start to get an idea of what's in there. Okay, let's have a look. So what do we have? All those little black seeds you see in there, see them? Black and yellow seeds, that's canola, all right? That is canola. They crush those and that's what that oil is made out of. I also see some grasshoppers, no surprise. And if you look right there, see that one? That's a piece of wheat. So there's a little bit of wheat in here. You don't want much wheat. Wheat really causes cattle to bloat. If they get a whole big load of wheat and they're not used to it, it'll cause them to bloat. See that? There's your canola seeds. Let's see what else is in here. I noticed, where'd they go? Oh, here's one. Okay, check out these. Got a lot of these. This little guy, you know what that is? Anybody recognize these seeds? Recognize those? Flax. Flaxseed. Kind of cool, huh? So flax typically is grown up here organically. So wherever these came from, they were probably rotating flax. I believe that's flax. If that's not flax, I'm gonna look like a fool. But anyway, I think they were rotating flax, you know, and then canola in the off years as they rotate around and change their crops up. So you have some volunteer flax growing in their canola. You got a little bit of volunteer wheat. And I thought it was peas up on the front when we loaded, but maybe that was just a whole bunch of flax pods. Could be that, which is fine. Flax is great. A lot of roughage in here. More than I was hoping for. I was hoping it'd be a little more grain and less straw and chaff and whatnot. But that being said, this load is 20,000 pounds, which normally wouldn't make a whole lot of economic sense to drive, 160 miles over to go pick up a 20,000 pound semi-load to bring back. But since I got this sawdust deal working out, I think it's okay. It works very well as a backhaul and it's no big deal. So I can swing in and grab what they got, settle up and hopefully make this work. So that what I was saying is 20,000 pounds. That equates to, just to put this in perspective, this is like, weight-wise, this is like 20 straw bales, okay? And I can guarantee this has way more feed value in it than straw. Probably not as good as hay still, but it's got a lot of stuff in there. Next step, we're gonna bag this up. I'm gonna send it off, get a feed analysis done so that I know what's in here, what kind of feed value is in this semi-load. And then from there, we can dictate, okay, how many pounds of hay should we give the cattle today? These cattle are going to need about 23 to 25 pounds of hay each day, or forage, I should say, ration, okay? 25 pounds of ration. So what makes up that ration? What do they need? Well, we've got our hay. We're gonna have some straw, it looks like, and then we're gonna have this. And so we got to add all those values together and come up with a ration. Say for example, 12 pounds of hay, 6 pounds of straw, and 8 pounds of this, and hopefully that will do the deal. I think I can get about a load of this a month, which would be great. We'll keep piling it up, hoping that there's some good value to it. We'll find out when we do the test, but this would create a pretty cost-effective solution. It's going to help you guys. I'm excited about it. This is good. It's a step in the right direction. Here's the thing I want you to take from this. Don't always, whatever you're doing in your life, don't always just stick with the status quo. Right now, the status quo around here is you're just going to have to go buy hay. You're just going to have to spend $250 a ton on hay if you want hay, okay? Did a lot of just really searching and thinking and trying to figure this out. And you got to think outside of the box. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. I don't know that this is going to work. I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful, you guys. Like I want to dance. Like hopefully, like after I shut this off, I might take my shirt off and just dive Scrooge McDuck style right into this stuff. You just don't know. But until next time, keep your fingers crossed. I think we're a step closer to putting this puzzle together that's going to get us through the wintertime. So in here, this is our calving barn. Some of you may recognize from past things. This is where we calve our cows at. What we're going to do is use it as a place to store these canola screenings because, well, not that we're worried about it raining. Someday, eventually, it's going to have to snow or do something. But for now, we're going to dump all that we can in here, and this trailer will just push the load right up into here. And this is where we're going to store it. We don't need this barn until, late January. So we have clear until late January. We're going to be feeding cattle way sooner than that, likely in October, November. That's when we'll be feeding. So we'll be pulling feed out of here all throughout the fall, and it'll just kind of work as a grain storage spot since we don't have any other place to put this stuff to keep it out of the weather. You guys, if you've been wondering throughout this show, walking floor trailers are like the coolest invention ever made. Those slats in the floor, there's like 20 something of them across the bottom of there, and they pull back individually. And then they all push towards the back together, and that's what pushes the load out. And then they stop and they each pull back individually. Like you see it stopped right now. It's because they're pulling back one at a time so it doesn't pull the whole load to the front of the trailer. And then once they all cycle to the back, in unison, they push forward. Here it comes. Wait for it. Come on, baby. Bring it on. There it comes. Pushing.